have our first panel discussion now, the emergence of the Middle East as a coveted knowledge destination. For that, I would like to request our panelist, Mr. Aditya Berlia, co-promoter, Apeejay Education India, who is the moderator of the session, Dr. Hamad Odhabi, Vice Chancellor for Administrative and Financial Affairs, Abu Dhabi University, Dr. Mohammad Khaled, who is already present on stage, Professor Sasmita Samanta, who is the Vice Chancellor, Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, deemed to be a university in Bhubaneswar, India. If you could have, I hand over the stage to you now, sir, for the first panel discussion.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Can I get everyone to help me out a little bit? Can everyone raise their left hand? As high as you can. Right hand. Stretch. As we hit almost the lunchtime, I am very excited to have such a wonderful panel with us. Welcome.
I'm going to push the both hands because I'm freezing.
Hopefully the lights on the stage will help out. I'm so grateful to have such an excellent panel with me today and discussing a topic I'm deeply passionate about, seeing how in front of my eyes in the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, where this region has gone from. I know each and every one of you who is in the audience have been a part of this journey. If you ask some of us back in 2000, what would the UAE, how would Saudi Arabia, how would Qatar, Bahrain, all these countries look like in 2023, I don't think we could have even imagined the kind of development, the kind of focus, the kind of industriousness that we have seen. In the last 2-3 years particularly, I think the region has handled COVID-19 exceptionally, perhaps better than most countries across the world, and it has been rewarded for that, and it has been rewarded by becoming, as I call it, the last neutral place in the world, especially the UAE, where everybody is welcome, no matter which country they belong to, their caste, creed, religion, which is no longer true. And second, it's also a region which welcomes anybody who wants to work. If we have a global talent war that's coming, if you really want to talk about talent and you say, I want to get the best from each part of the world, this is the only region where they can all come in, they can work, and they can thrive. With that simple background, what I'd love to do is to quickly get our panelists' perspectives on a few questions. And the first one for me is that where do you see, particularly in higher education, the excitement is in the next couple of years? To give a context, UAE always had a problem and the region where people would come up till they're 18 and then they would go abroad for their higher education. Increasingly, we are seeing them not only stay, but also attracting a lot of people coming in. So starting with you, a quick, maybe 1-minute introduction about yourself. You can grab the mic, and with this change, how do you see the higher education truly transforming in the next 5 years?
In such panel discussions, always I prefer to start with the seniority because seniority always take over. So respectfully to start before them.
Sir, or ma'am, whichever one you want to think. I'll give it to you, sir.
Because, in such panel discussions, always I prefer with the seniority. Seniority always we have like a pioneer visions, and we were taking it from there. And respectfully, like to be in front of Dr. Hamad, where he is considered my mentor since I used to be student in Abu Dhabi University, to start before him.
Thank you very much. I think the age is helping me with this one.
Age is just a number.
I think UAE is really exceptional. I like your summary, the way you put it in. Clearly, why you need to go to study anywhere. If you ask your kid or you thinking to send your son or daughter to go anywhere, you need high quality program, accredited program. You need experience as well, experience in the university, experience outside the university. You're looking for connection with industry. We heard the 3 pillars that we need to have in place. And currently UAE offering all these things. I was debating with my daughter when she finished her high school. She applied to many universities in US and UK. And at the end, we sat down and said, what do you want? You want to go to a university that rank, say, 300, 200? We have in the UAE. We have those universities in the country. And what do you want? You want to be connected with industry? UAE is multicultures, and all industries are in UAE. Research is making good progress. Most universities are making really good progress. Our ministry is putting lots of support to help in terms of program accreditation, in terms of faculty development, in terms of standards. And the rulers here is opening opportunities for talent to stay. We see the golden visa and all those great opportunities. In Abu Dhabi University, we noticed increase in our international student. And I think basically everybody wanted to be in the UAE. It's a peaceful country, it is forward-looking country, and it offers so many opportunities.
Sir, where are you seeing the increase coming in from? Are there specific countries that are sending more students to the UAE and to the region?
So in total of experience, 21 years of experience. You are telling me you are a PhD holder right now. Why I am a PhD holder? Not because I wanted the PhD, not because I want to continue my master degree, because of my parents. This is point number one. And point number two, once I was in one of the job working and studying, we were in the technical discussions with one of the committee. One member stopped and raised a hand. This is a PhD holder. Why are you arguing with him? He knows better than you. At that time, if you slapped me, that was much easier for me than listening that word. So I put a mandate on myself. Okay, I want to get the PhD. I want to get received it, and I received the PhD as the first PhD in the world for smart and safe city. Fair enough. If you ask me now if the time returned, will I study in the university? I will say no. Like Elon Musk.
So the credit was worth it. The time spent, perhaps not.
Yeah. So thankfully, go back to your points. Who should come first? Vocational education or industry education, or let's say academic educations? Both of them are important. Even I am with the vocational education more than the academic education, but both of them in parallel if they are being mixed. So from this panel, I'm gonna raise a recommendation. So we have to balance between the academic system, should be 2 years vocational, 2 years academic. You're gonna mix it together. In this way, you're gonna prepare the students to the future. Even the universities right now, worldwide, there is no university in the world, they are mixing the education system between vocational and the academic one, where someone should take the lead and change it. Because if you're gonna depend on the best practices coming from try and error. So someone should take the change and do it, because in this way you are balancing with the market demand from the hiring perspective, you are balancing the knowledge and experience that you are going to take. So this is in summary.
No, wonderful. And I'm going to take 2 key points. One is this blending of industry and all right in the core, and that's something a lot of us have been saying that we should do. And the second interesting point, of course, which I love, is that you can't reform a system from inside by best practices, because the best practice is just the best of what you are already doing, rather than something radically different and new. And I think one of the things which excites me about things like the new education policy in India and a lot of the stuff that's happened in this region is the willing to question, well, yes, we've done it for 100 years, doesn't mean we have to do it for another 100. This is the best practice that was there for 100 years, but is it really going to help us for the next 100? And I think that's a massive question that we have to answer. I'm going to make a quick small point, and I'd love to move to audience questions, because I'd love to get everyone in on this. So one of the big things that we've seen that's happening around the world, and I go back to the biggest issue that every single higher education institution faces. Fundamentally, that is getting talent. If you look at the number of vacancies from top universities in the region for really top professors, assistant professors, adjunct professors, it is insane. On one hand, we are producing PhDs and students and all in masse. And on the other hand, we have all these vacancies, and there is a huge mismatch. I used to talk about the skilling gap between industry and academia, where industry said we want these skills, and then academia is struggling to fill them out. We have now achieved an academia differentiation where even academia people aren't being able to fill those jobs. And I think this is what's something that this region is going to be able to do perhaps better than most places. If you look at countries, most of them have a singular problem, and that is not invented here, not taught by here. We cannot give funding to this person or this thing because they're not a citizen of our country, because they're not a resident of our country. We have government grants, we have university grants, but we cannot give it to this or that person because they are from some other country. Right? There is an arrogance of academia, there's an arrogance of industry that no, we can't import people from other countries. We have good people here, let's find one of them and support them. And I think what I love about the region in particular is this answer why. If we can get the best person from anywhere in the world to come and move here, to teach here, to do research here, it is as good as supporting a local person who is doing here as well. And having that open system where you're able to combine the two, where you can say, look, if you are the best in the world, we welcome you. And if you're homegrown, and how can we support you up? I think is a two-way street that allows for a fundamental rejigging of talent that at least I have not seen in most countries. If today you are a top person in your field, you have to look at your passport to decide where you can go, which country will have you, how you can do it. And if you're a university trying to hire somebody from a top country, you have to ask for their passport and ask, will our government, to your point, madam, support us in getting you to our country? How difficult it is? Is it going to take us 1 year, 2 years? And that talent war system and that globalized talent is there. So I'll stop there. Love to get questions. I know we are running over time, so we'll take 2 to 3 questions. Sir, we'll get you. So if you can just state your name and a quick question. What I don't want is a 5-minute, 10-minute lecture, because we are short on time. Your name, what you do, and a quick question. Sir, if we could start with you. Can we have a mic? Anybody can get a mic? Guys, question, Q&A mic to... Just grab that. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Hi panelists, it was wonderful listening to you. My name is Tamil Ramdas. I'm representing from the industry side. I'm a chief financial officer for one of the local group. My question is straight to the point. We are talking about faculty development programs where the faculty go and try to learn and update themselves. Are these university representatives sitting there or in this region or any other region, do they have any plan to create professional faculty development programs? For example, there are a lot of experts sitting in the industry. They don't have a training or a teaching experience, but they have a wealth of knowledge sitting in their mind. But they do not know how to simplify and explain to the student fraternity. So, if we can create, instead of...
Sir, I get your question. I'll repeat it. It's a fantastic question. And sir, as a senior person, I will try to ask you this. So the question is, look, one is that we have academia trying to learn industry, which you covered. But there's a huge number of people in industry who have the experience, who have the knowledge, but never got taught how to teach, right? And so either they are insecure or they're not able to fundamentally figure out, look, I have 20 years of knowledge in this field, I want to teach it. How can we train them, and this is something I'm personally interested in as well, how can we train them, how can we have programs that allow them to become teachers?
Yeah, I think the opportunity is in the adjunct faculty. That's one place if we want to do it at that scale. A larger scale maybe will be complicated to get everyone. So what we do at universities, and most universities, they have induction program and training program for them that include teaching and learning practices, include assessment, includes evaluation of program learning outcome and attainment and stuff like that. But there are also programs like Abu Dhabi University offering a postgraduate diploma for those people who want to get into teaching, which help them to bridge into teaching and become a faculty in the university. But for us, when someone comes from the industry, their industry experience is the most important thing for us than the teaching. So what we do, we buddy him with someone else that can help him with things related to teaching and assessment. And
so it's like a mentorship program with a faculty member, classroom management, how to deal with questions, how to do all of that. I think that's fantastic, sir. And I think, but honestly, it's an open-ended question. We had one more question here. Sir, was there a hand raised somewhere? Please, stood on that. And ma'am, we'll get back to you. I wish there was an answer, sir, that we could give you ASAP. But I think a lot more work needs to be done on that. Sir, question, please.
Myself, Raman Batra, part of management into group of institution from India. So today in the world of 30 seconds reel, a student comes to a classroom where he finds all due respect to the fraternity of education, lecturers, professors. the kind of passion which was carried earlier, coming from IIT Bombay background. So being part of management, we normally face this problem. India being an IT giant, normally students who are passing out, 90% gets into IT. Rest, there is a startup wave happening, they want to do their own startup. Whatever is left, people who are not being employed or not being getting into startup, they get into master degree, do their MTech programs, and get
Are
into
you saying, sir, those who can't do teach?
No, let me complete. Yeah. So it's not about teach. It's about somebody who don't have their basics in place, get into a teaching profession because the statutory body at the country.
So, okay, so I hear you, it's a valid critique. What's the question?
So my question is, how do we manage this change happening into education, right? It's very, very important that strongest pillar of the education today is teachers, who is going to drive this.
Fair enough,
now,
sir.
Quality of teaching need to be improved overall. So you need to require that kind of a professor coming into a class, talking
sir,
about and engaging it for an hour.
If I may, just in the interest of time, I'll break your questions into three parts. The first part of your question is, how do we create a pipeline of great educators downstream, which is a huge question, just given all the vacancies. And ma'am, we'll start with you and then let's come there. The second thing is, how do we create a love and a desire for going into the profession of teaching as the first option rather than the last option for our top graduates? And I think the third is then, how do we take the faculty we have now, better or worse, and really take them to the next level. So it's, I think, a three-based. It's the pipeline, it's the incentive for the best students to go up there, and third is with the existing faculty members, how do we do that? Ma'am, very difficult question.
Yes, thank you. Just we are discussing that now the whole university space is changing, and we are trying to bring different perspective into the university system. I would like to give example of national education policy, whatever India is banking upon, and through that national education policy, now all the universities in the country are allowed to bring faculties from industries to the education framework without any master's and PhD degree. So the people, those who are having ample years of experience in industries, 10 years or 15 years, they can be tagged as the professors of practice, and they can come to the university framework. Just yesterday, another one big decision University Grants Commission has taken, how to bring the experts in their area, like artists, the cinema directors, the people, those who are the experts in there, the people, those who are doing sculpturists, how to bring those people into the university framework. They have made a policy just day before yesterday.
I love this, and you know, just taking off the point we had here is, you know, one of the this gentleman was the ex-dean of Harvard University and one of my mentors, and he told me, which is to your echoed point, the worst mistake we made in the history of education was saying that the moment you get a PhD, suddenly you are a great teacher.
Yes.
And I think here where, sir, you asked the question about, you know, how do we get more and more people in on high quality? And to Sir's point on the question here on how do we get industry people, by eliminating that artificial filter that you need to have a master's or a PhD to be able to teach in academia, that goes a long way.
I will not say eliminating, I will say creating opportunities for others also. That
so
can
there are
be
two
one
ways,
of the
either you
yes.
go through the traditional route or you go through the experiential route.
We can create other opportunities that others can come and join the academia, and they can share their knowledge with the students. Second thing is that my previous speaker was saying that in the university we should think of that how to convert knowledge into the wealth. Yes, but in academic profession, maybe it is not directly proportionate. In academics, if we say it, if you take it as the profession and we think about how to convert the knowledge into the wealth, that may not be acceptable to any of the individuals. So in academics, I think that academic profession runs with the passion. That is also another one thing. It is not directly proportionate with the wealth, what we can think, what we think like converting the knowledge into wealth.
I think, gee, the definition of wealth might be different.
Yeah, definition of wealth might be different. Yes, that can be
Sir,
different.
last point. Yes. I think we're just out of time, so we'll end with you.
Just in less than 2 minutes. You know, once you graduate from the university as a bachelor degree holder, and you face the fact of the employment market that you will not find a job, You said to yourself, I want to pursue my master degree in order to find a job if that might help me. All right? That one is increase the number of the master holder. Once you come to the job itself, they're going to tell you are overqualified because they are following the grading system from bachelor to master to PhD holder. So you face the fact that whenever you get to the higher educational level, that the more difficult that you find. The less the educational level you have, which is the minimum, the bachelor, you're going to say, the more suitable options to find it. So here we have to find a balance between the acceptance in new candidate to certain program with minimum certain years of experience, because in this way you're going to protect the market from the, let's say, from the unbalancing from the degree holder. And even if you look to the certain countries who's supporting the researcher or supporting, let's say, postgraduate educations, whenever they come to the job or let's say to the work placement, they're going to tell you, okay, I'm a PhD holder, I'm a master holder, I will not work on this because I spent number of years on this education and now you put me in this position. So, and you're going to face the other facts of it. Once you are working as a PhD holder in certain industry, all right, where you pursue your education as a straight way, you're going to find the industry people will look at you that you are in the question mark, how you get your PhD or how you get your master, and you don't know how to understand the basic. So here, what I'm suggesting from the early stages in the university, in the first step you join the university, or even in the work industry, people, they should understand certification, it has path, industry, it has a path, but it doesn't mean if you have industry experience that you are not good in education, or you are in a good education, you are not in the industry. But it's matter of the opportunity opening. This one got the opportunity to pursue the education, and this one has an opportunity to pursue with the industry. But the industry also should understand that the one who able to pursue this education level, he can get the industry experience without underestimation with the both parties.
And I think that's a great note to sort of pause here at. The only point I would make in response is the case I always make for two simple things: gratitude and humility. And I think this is something that that we really need to teach, not just the industry but also the academia, is that, you know, just because you have a master's or a PhD or a bachelor should not make you arrogant that I can't do this job or that job. And the reverse, just because you think that a person has studied for 9-10 years, they're not going to be able to come into industry and to be qualified. My favorite joke, I am a graduate of both Harvard and Stanford University, and in one of the reunions we had the professor come up and he says, once there was a student who went to Harvard University, and third year internship during a down economy, he had to work at a restaurant. So he wore a suit and all, and he came to the restaurant, and they said, look, honestly, all interns, we start by sweeping the floors. And the guy said, no, I'm a third year Harvard University student, etc. He said, oh, I am so sorry, you're from Harvard University. He said, yes. So this is how you sweep the floor, because you don't know how. Which I think to me sent a very good message, saying that arrogance just because of a university you went to, because of a program, because of a master's, should not be there. And similarly from industry, the arrogance that, oh, this person is an outsider, what does he know, they've sat in academia for 7-8 years, should not be. So I think if we get a little bit more gratitude and a little bit more humility on both sides, a lot of problems will be solved. And I will hand it over because I know we are running short of time. Thank you so much to our wonderful panel. Thank you so much for being here. Apologize for being a little bit late.